Welcome to my Hendrick Hudson community presentation regarding the upcoming budget prepared by Janelle McNeil, lifelong resident of Montrose and a Hen Hud graduate class of 1988. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The district's plan is to make the residents take on all of the Indian Point revenue loss. What does that mean to the residents? It means an approximate increase of 74.8% to your school taxes over the next 7 years at the rates that are on this screen. Are you ready? In the previous slide, it's a snapshot of this slide, which was prepared by the school district and presented at the Board of Ed meeting on February 12th, which you can find on the school website. The status quo plan entails losing revenue and still increasing our expenditures every year, which you can see on here. The revenues decrease from $36 million to $16 million, but the budget increases from $80 million to $92.7 million. This model is disastrous to the taxpayers, increasing the average homeowner's burden by almost $6,000. In addition, there are some numbers in here that the community needs to be aware of that could impact the shortfall and will result in using and reducing our fund balance in the future. If state aid calculations or sales tax fluctuates due to economic factors such as COVID, this will happen. The district this year lost $3 million in pilot money, but they didn't reduce any expenditures. They used $3 million from fund balance to cover the loss, which you can see here in the second and the first column. The pilot went down from 26 million to 23, but the fund balance borrowing went up 3 million. So in essence, they used our savings from previous years to supplement the budget instead of cutting expenditures. They need to do this to stay at the level so they can keep increasing the tax rate every year by the formula in the tax cap. If you are not on board for a status quo approach, this will be the only time to have your voice heard at the polls. The administration will be making all decisions regarding our future by board vote only. The public doesn't have a voice. What does this 74.8% increase mean for taxpayers? It means if you are currently paying $6,000, you will be paying upwards of $10,800. If you are paying $8,000, you will be paying upwards of $14,400. And if you are paying $11,500 currently, you will be over $20,000 with this increase. Please bear in mind that this is only the increase to your school taxes. You need to take into consideration all of the other taxing districts that you will have to have increases on top of this tax. Some key information that is very important to note to contradict statements made by our superintendent, who has said that this tax increase will put us in line with what everyone around us has been paying for years. If Hen Hud had the same statistics as the surrounding school districts, I would agree with him that we should all pay relatively the same tax. But shouldn't the superintendent practice what he preaches? Looking at the statistics for our surrounding areas, our residents are not the same as the other school districts. Hen Hud residents have the lowest income in the area at a household average of $100,870. Lakeland is 10% higher at $109,000. Croton is 26% higher at $126,000, and Yorktown is 33% higher at $133,000. Croton and Yorktown home values are higher than ours. Croton's almost $150,000 for an average size house compared to ours. We have the highest poverty rate in the area. You can note from these statistics we are not the same. Why are we not the same? Hendrick Hudson is losing students at a faster rate than surrounding school districts. We need to think long term. This trend is real. A major question to ask yourself regarding our budgets is, if enrollment is declining, why does our budget keep increasing? Over the past 10 years, we've lost almost 400 students. If you do the calculation at 400 students times the average rate it costs to educate a student in this area of $31,000, that comes over $12 million. Why does our budget keep going up? Benchmarking our costs against surrounding school districts, we are spending $3,142 more for direct instructional costs and $3,844 more for special education direct costs. Some people might say, well, that's a good thing. Our students are getting a better answer, right? The answer is no. That's not true. It's not a good thing. Just because our school spends more doesn't mean we have better students. Our graduation rate is at 92% versus Croton at 96% and Lakeland's at 94%. Also, our Regents percentage for diplomas is very low at 84% compared to Croton at 96% and Lakeland at 90%. We are spending more on each student than any other school district, yet they all outrank us. Using data from the 2018-19 budget, if you take the entire cost of the budget and you divide it by the enrollment, the total cost per student for Hen HUD is $34,281. Our surrounding school districts have an average of $29,655, and that's between Lakeland, Croton, and Yorktown. This is a difference of $4,626. Why does our school cost so much more? Because we have been fortunate enough to receive $24 million or more a year from Indian Point to subsidize our taxes. For the past 12 years, as enrollment has declined, our administration has not had to make any tough choices in cutting back on expenses and watch every penny like every other school district has to do. Because of the Indian Point staffing and programming could remain in place with many less students and taxpayers never had to pay attention. Now we don't have that luxury anymore, and taxpayers are paying attention. The taxpayer shouldn't have to pick up the burden of unnecessary costs. Our administrators need to be fiscally responsible to the taxpayers and start cutting their budget so the superintendent can actually mean it when he says it's time we start paying what other districts pay. I'm all for the budget once it's in line with what other districts are spending per student, not our inflated budget because we had Indian Point revenues. And it only gets worse for the budget that's upcoming for 2020-2021. In this upcoming budget, if you vote yes, you will be agreeing to pay $36,465 per student's education. You will be saying yes to a fiscally irresponsible budget because the administration keeps increasing our expenditures even though our number of students keeps declining. Tough choices need to be made, and that's what the taxpayers look to the elected Board of Education members to ensure that the administration is doing. Yet, on Monday, May 11th, they all voted yes to support this budget. If you look at the budgets in our surrounding schools, we have the highest increase to the budget, yet we are the residents impacted with the Indian Point revenue loss of $24 million. Lakeland actually shaved off money. They took $11 million off of their budget and decreased their budget from last year by almost 6%. Yet we are in the predicament that we're in, and we are raising our budget another $2 million instead of cutting costs and increasing the budget to budget by 2.62%. Our taxpayers will now be paying an average of almost $5,000 more than other schools to educate our students. This is crazy. If you agree, say no to status quo. If you are okay with needlessly paying more for an education than our counterparts, then vote for the 74.8% increase. So what is our way out of this? What is our plan? There is a way to reduce the budget by restructuring our school district to one centralized elementary school and cutting costs with shared services. On my theory of reducing the budget by shared services and centralizing the elementary school, I looked to the award-winning Croton Harmon School District. They follow the model of one elementary school, one middle school, and one high school. Based on their model, their budget is for 1,544 students at $49.4 million in 2020-2021. If they can operate their district with this base budget and we have an additional 709 students with an average cost to educate a student at $31,000, it comes to an estimated budget of $71 million. Our proposed budget is $82 million. That is a difference of approximately $11 million, which would bring us right in line with surrounding school districts. Of course, restructuring would take time, but the numbers would be relative in the future. If you would like to see the entire detailed proposal of restructuring with all the costs and plans, it's available in another video to answer all the questions you might have of how we can get to a sustainable budget for the future. Please take a look at it. Thank you for watching my video.